Where would that rank in all the achievements that you've had as a manager?
No idea. It's just last 16, and no idea. I don't know. It's a football game. Many things can happen. And you have to focus and try to first win the game, and after we see what happens during the game. So I don't have a specific plan, a part of the just try it.
Do you have to transmit your belief that the team can turn it round? Because it's a big ask.
Well, after 10 years, you have to convince my players about the beliefs. We are in problem. They know me quite well, that every single game we try, there will be no exception. They have to. So they are the guys who play it, and I'm pretty sure they will try it. And I know most of them. Of course, most of them, they are new, they're experienced in that situations. And we are not the same group that many years, but at the same time, it's an incredible experience and an incredible opportunity to try it.
Hi, Pep. Can you take us into the decision of giving the players a day off today?
We train tomorrow.
Before the game?
Yeah.
Okay. And you say many times this is mental. Also, it's not just football. There's also a mental part involved. How much is this move a mental part, a mental way?
En Asisa Salud tienes la mejor atención sanitaria.
Oído.
Con un gran equipo de profesionales médicos.
Oído.
Y la mejor protección para cuidarte a ti y a los tuyos.
Oído.
Además, ahora, al formar parte de Asisa Salud, puedes acceder a una ventaja comercial sin precedentes. Un audífono sin coste.
¿Cómo?
Sin coste.
Ah, pues oído.
Un seguro así tenía que escucharse claro.
We're going to defend. Now I have to. The task is massive, so score more than 3 goals against Madrid is not easy. The result in the first leg is not the perfect one, but at the same time we are here. It's a football game. Everything can happen, and our momentum is always the Etihad Stadium are there. We have to create as much momentum as possible with our people, and do a good game for the talent players that we have, and defend well.
Pep, you said the task is massive. Does it have to be a perfect performance, would you say?
Definitely.
And from a manager's point of view, are you thinking of a way of trying to surprise Real Madrid somehow?
No. It's about the players, put it in their perfect positions. We play with 4 or 5 strikers in the first leg. We didn't score a goal. So sometimes you play with 2 false nines and something like that. You can score 5 goals. So you never know. The idea is there. We have to try it, and not much different things that we have done at home, and just, when we arrive there, to try to score and defend better the positions. And yeah, perfect game in many senses. And in the bad moments, it happened. It will be a perfect game during 93, 94 minutes. So we just to try, don't give up, and next one, and always we can create in a certain short minutes chances. So we know with that. We know because we know each other. We happened the season just we create that, and we're not finishing. And if we are able to be clinical there, and especially defend well, always will be in the game.
Hi, Pep. Obviously you would never choose to be in this position, but some of the most memorable Champions League games have come from teams coming back from a first leg deficit. Barcelona and PSG is one example. You said before it's just a place in the quarterfinals on offer, but for the fans who go tomorrow, if they were to see you pull off, it's something that they would probably never ever forget.
We have seen, for example, in many games here. I remember against Tottenham or against Madrid 2 times, we scored 4 goals or 4 goals. The problem is not about the goals. Against Tottenham, we scored 4 goals or 5, I don't know. And they scored 3 or 4, and Madrid scored the first year 3 goals. So the problem is not about that we are able to do it. We are able to create chances here. Even in a short time in the last games, in 10, 15 minutes, we are able to be there many, many times. So we have to create as much as possible, knowing that, of course.
Con Plenitud, la energía del cambio tiene una nueva forma. Es disfrutar de nuestro mejor precio de luz contratando la tarifa Fácil Plus. Y es tener a tu lado al mejor aliado para cada cambio. Descúbrelo en anyplenitud.es.
It's easy for me, guys. The first 20 minutes, we have to score 3 goals. Yeah, perfect. Good message. But the reality is completely different. It's just to be sustainable in our approach, in our how to get to do it, and in all departments that we are working tomorrow or talk tomorrow about what we have to do until the end. And we know it's not able because the first result in the first leg was not the best one, so it's difficult sometimes, you know, because we create the first 20 minutes 4 or 5 times in byline for Bernardo was alone in the 6-yard box and 2-3 crosses, cutbacks that we didn't arrive, and they 3 shoots on target, 3 goals. So that is the Champions League. That's why it's so difficult. And the opponents, that's really good. We have to live with that. Of course, we have to take more risk in terms of trying, but even the results is not good in the first half. We have to keep going, carry on, go, and because you never know. You never know.
Hi, Pep. I mean, in your personal history, you've had some games and some ties where you've come from behind. I mean, do you have a favourite comeback, a comeback that you always remember?
Aston Villa, last game, to win the Premier League. 74 minutes, 0-2. They make 3 goals in 12 minutes. So, another comebacks, we did incredible things in this competition, scoring goals, but concede, for goal difference we are out, for many details, for the decisions for the referees, for many reasons. Sometimes you are out. So, it had to be a perfect game in many, many departments. In our people and the referee decisions, for many, many things have to be so good to make these kind of things, but it's nice, an experience to live again. Always I have a good memories in the defeat, so always one of the more exciting moments when the Tottenham games. On the other one we were out, but what a game, what a moment. It's painful, it's hard, but always remind now in my pockets. Not always remain the good things in your life. The bad things always apart, and good games and good experience. I have to create a good game with our people. Hopefully they can make an extra bonus, and yeah, try it.
Pep, about the training. Did you feel that today was more important to rest the bodies or the minds?
Listen, we were in Madrid. We arrived late in the hotel. We stuff to sleep and come back in the morning. Travel here. Day after here, no training. Go to London. Arrived yesterday at 2:30 a.m. So today you recover. Today you cannot do anything because the players who play they are still, you know, at home. And tomorrow we will train.
Con Plenitud, la energía del cambio tiene una nueva forma. Es disfrutar de nuestro mejor precio de luz contratando la tarifa Fácil Plus. Y es tener a tu lado al mejor aliado para cada cambio. Descúbrelo en anyplenitud.es.
So I prefer today be at home, and for me as well, and tomorrow instead to arrive at 3 or 4, we arrive at 2. We move a little bit our legs. On the pitch we're going to try to do this and go. I did it 2 or 3 times this season, so it's not the first time.
Hi, Pep. You did it before the Dortmund game in November.
The Fulham game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've hit 2 or 3 times this season, so yeah. When it's 3 days different, sometimes I train, sometimes I said, stay at home. 11 months, we will make a World Cup season, 2 weeks, World Cup, 2 weeks to start the season, so we know each other quite well, so. Well, we talk now. Now we practice many, many things. You had to practice to improve because it's too late.
And how beneficial was that to give them that extra time?
I don't know. We try to put our best, but I don't know.
Simon?
Pep, you've spoken a lot about the need to defend very well in this game and be perfect. How has the defence been over the last few weeks, and what improvements are needed in it?
Well, if you play the game against West Ham, if you made a shoot on target in corner and don't more, that will defend well. Really, really well. So in terms of the people say, I have to make goals, no. We have to move more, we concede. So let's try to, to avoid that is not easy because the quality of Madrid always is there, but try to, the situation that will be there in the 1-against-1, the keepers, defenders and everyone, the solidarity to work behind. Because with the ball, maybe I'm wrong, maybe we play when we are not able to do it, but from experience in the Champions League or in that position, but we need to do it, always we are able to create chances, always, in every single game. Instead to do it maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, do it in as much longer time as possible.
Jack?
Given that you did defend well on Saturday and didn't give up any chances, does that give you a little bit of a selection headache for tomorrow? Because obviously Diaz didn't play Saturday, but you did defend really well, and goosing off against Vinicius might be really important.
The selection I have already done, more or less, yeah. I know the team is going to start tomorrow. I don't have any doubts. One doubt maybe, but the rest is clear.
And have you seen apart from last week at the Bernabéu, have you seen an improvement in the stability of the team over the course of the season?
Yeah, much. Our average. It was a moment, yeah, for Consifa goes in Fulham in the second half, a crazy game, and
Con Plenitud, la energía del cambio tiene una nueva forma. Es disfrutar de nuestro mejor precio de luz contratando la tarifa Fácil Plus. Y es tener a tu lado al mejor aliado para cada cambio. Descúbrelo en anyplenitud.es.
After the game against West Ham, but I had opinion for many months. So just miss. Yeah, the chances to create, most of them convert. That it was what they had to try to do. It is this amount of chances create much more amount, create more opportunities, and just put the ball in the net. So I had to try to do it.
Take some questions in Spanish. We're starting here, please. Thank you.
Hola,
Hi,
Pep,
Pep.
¿qué tal? Soy Adrián,
How are you?
periodista del Desmarque. El otro día comentabas que
The other day you were speaking about you've faced Real Madrid 50 times as a manager, as a player too. Is what you're missing is an epic comeback in the Champions League, 3-0 down? Do you visualize that? How do you prepare yourself for this mentally? We'll give it a go. But I'm not missing anything from the games that I've faced Real Madrid. I'm very satisfied. The experiences I had as a player to play against Real Madrid 50 times, it's not bad. I've not got a bad record as a player or a manager. I'll just be doing it for my team that I represent now. During a decade, we've managed to do some incredible things, but that won't change what I've experienced as a player and how a manager. The meetings we've had, that won't change anything in the game tomorrow. You spoke about the rest that you've given to your players. Why did you do that? Is it superstition? Because we saw you did that against Dortmund and it worked out well. I'll find out tomorrow. We'll train tomorrow. We'll train tomorrow instead of training today. It's very simple. Now, today we would have trained on the same things as we will tomorrow. Maybe 1% difference. So 3 days difference. We've had 2 long trips. We went to London as well. It's a long trip. You have to go by a train or plane. We came back from West Ham. We're not going to be doing anything. They'll be at home, the players, with their families today. And then they'll send each other WhatsApp messages, I'm sure, or imagining. And tomorrow we'll see each other. And we'll train a little bit, and then we'll play the game. Wanted to ask you, because you were talking about scoring goals, you've done that in many other games, but I wanted to ask you about your defence. Kylian Mbappé will be playing, or he's definitely travelled. Does that change the way that you plan the game tomorrow? Can we see perhaps a surprise?
Con Plenitud, la energía del cambio tiene una nueva forma. Es disfrutar de nuestro mejor precio de luz contratando la tarifa Fácil Plus. Y es tener a tu lado al mejor aliado para cada cambio. Descúbrelo en anyplenitud.es.
Buenas, Pep. Fernando Ruiz para el diario AS. Yo te quería preguntar si hay un mensaje especial que transmitas a la
message that you will give to your team, talking about coming back, or do you feel like it's just another game? Will you give them a special message? No, there's not really much more left to say. It's like a final. It's a perfect game to turn round. There's very few messages now. We're all older adults. I do feel, not because of what I've spoken to them about or when I saw them a little bit yesterday, I know that we're going to give it a go. Whether we can achieve it, I have no idea.
Hola Pep, ¿qué tal? Yo, del Río del diario Marca. Has hablado antes que las cosas malas también forman parte de esto.
Bad things form part of your experiences, your history. Can you talk to me about the culture, failure culture? There's possibly a chance that you will be out again early in the Champions League. Do you feel that failure in sports, how do you manage that frustration with the team? The important thing is that you don't believe that it's a failure. So we have to convince ourselves the strength, the commitment you put in to what you dedicate your life to. In sports, you can do things well, the other team can be better than you accept it, and you just try and get better, and then try it the following season. For many wonderful adjectives you can use, you don't have to feel that it's like that. It comes from hard work, dedication, and you have to love your sport, respect your fans. Times over the last few years, and we've had some wonderful ties against you guys, and many times we've gone out. Is it a failure? You decide that. You think it's unfair to talk about failure in sport. It's not important about what I feel about it. It's whether you feel. What do you feel? I've always responded. I've already answered you. Those things don't change. How do you manage it with the squad? The squad, you say, what a shame we're not in the Champions League. And
boom. The name says it all. This is Head's most power-oriented racket family, built to give you that boom every time you strike. Boom is all about powerful touch and swinging big without holding back. New generation, new tech. AI-optimized string patterns, fine-tuned from thousands of ball flight data points, giving you better control without losing power. With high bore integrated into the frame, you get all the stability you need to hit hard and hit big. And yes, style still matters. Choose the bold blue inspired by Head's iconic new ski generation. Or choose Coco's favorite design, which is a purple statement. We also added a Boom MPUL, a lighter option for those who love comfort and power in a sporty frame. Powerful, playful Boom. Feel the fun in every shot.
I've never seen a better team who plays football. Perhaps, you know, you ask me these things because I'm from Barca. Well, it's about Spanish football, playing well in Spanish football. Is it a failure if you don't win the Champions League every year? It depends on you. I would say that Brutus' team played well, for example.
So that was the Manchester City manager, Pep Guardiola. We'll hear from Bernardo Silva shortly, so stay with us for that. Former City striker Sean Gota watching that press conference of Pep Guardiola alongside me here in the studio. What did you make of it, Sean?
Yeah, it was a lot of good things that I liked that Pep was speaking. And one of the things that I was hearing him say is it's not about the number of chances. We're going to be all right. We're going to create those chances. About us putting those chances away. So I think he's basically saying to the players, we're going to get chances. We put our chances away, and we'll be okay with that. He also backed that up with Real Madrid are a very good team. Yes, they all have the chances and their opportunities, but it's about us. It's about us also not conceding goals, and that's what I was also hearing. So I was hearing that. Us not really going out in the first 15 minutes, we've got to score 3 goals. It was exactly what I thought. No, we've got 90 minutes plus to be able to do that. So I really liked it because it was speaking to what I would want to hear as a player.
Let's hear now from the Manchester City captain, Bernardo Silva, speaking to the media ahead of tomorrow's game with Real Madrid.
Take questions from English media first, followed by questions from Spanish media. Someone start, please. Fred.
Hi, Bernardo. You didn't get a day off. You're here.
Me no. I was the only one that didn't get a day off. No.
As one of the leaders of the squad.
Bienvenidos a Dormiworld, donde todo el mundo sueña.
Vaya semanas me esperan dormir.
Tranquilo, con las nuevas Dorminatur Gamis Forte, con más melatonina y ahora el doble de gamis, cogerás el sueño a lo grande. Y para dormirte en 2, nuevo Dorminatur Spray Forte. Cuidamos de cada sueño.
It was the best for the team. And with all the trips that we had this week, I think if we just thought that it would be best for us to sleep better, to stay at home one more day, to free a bit our minds, and come back tomorrow stronger and ready for the game.
Hi, Bernardo. Pep mentioned the game against Aston Villa a couple of years ago on the final day. You were obviously involved in that. Is that something you can sort of call upon, you know, in the dressing room before and tell the other guys about?
Well, this sport has taught us that a lot of things can happen in a football game, and even though the result in Madrid was really bad, we will fight. We will for sure fight until the end, knowing that it's going to be tough. The opponent is a very good one. The first result was not good. At home, a lot of things can happen, especially at home here at the Etihad, and we're going to try and create the right atmosphere for that to happen.
Bernardo, after the match last Wednesday, you all looked very kind of down, understandably. Mm-hmm. How do you sort of inject that belief back into the players that you can do this and you can create one of those memorable nights, as you say?
Well, it's never easy, especially when it's just a week, but usually after a big defeat, on the day you feel like everything is very dark, then it gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And you arrive the day before the game, and the atmosphere, even though this week was a really bad one for us, we know that what this team is capable of. The problem that we lacked this season was the consistency, because the level, we know that we can reach that level. The problem that we had was that we weren't able to maintain that level for the right amount of games. So if we are on it tomorrow, we know that it's possible.
You can obviously score the goals at any point in the game, Bernardo, but how important will scoring early be to get the team up and the crowd up if you are to pull this off?
It would be very important, obviously. The earlier the better. I would also say that no matter what, it can still happen, because I don't know who was it that spoke about the Aston Villa game.
Boom. The name says it all. This is Head's most power-oriented racket family, built to give you that boom every time you strike. Boom is all about powerful touch and swinging big without holding back. New generation, new tech. AI-optimized string patterns, fine-tuned from thousands of ball flight data points, giving you better control without losing power. With high bore integrated into the frame, you get all the stability you need to hit hard and hit big. And yes, style still matters. Choose the Bolts Blue, inspired by Head's iconic new ski generation. Or choose Coco's favorite design, which is a purple statement. We also added a Boom MPUL, a lighter option for those who love comfort and power in a sporty frame. Powerful, playful Boom. Feel the fun in every shot.
I think the obvious answer is that this is a transition, because if you look not long ago, if you look at the Champions League final when we won the treble, if you look at that team and you look at the team now, maybe 4 or 5 players are left. In 2 years and a half, to only have 4 or 5 or 6 players left, it's a lot of change. So to have that many change in a football club is never easy, because it's not about the talent or the quality of the players. It's about the players getting to know each other better, knowing when they play together what works better, and obviously getting the experience and the knowledge to deal especially with the bad moments. As I said, I don't know the right answer. No one knows. You might have your opinion, the manager might have his opinion, I might have my own opinion. I do believe that having so many different players in such a short term doesn't help, because from my experience, I've been here 9 years. 3 years ago, when I played with Gundogan, with Kevin, with Rodri, or with Kyle, or because we played together so many years, we knew exactly what the other player wanted, and the qualities of the other guy, the guy next to you. Right now, these young guys, they need time to adapt, playing with each other, playing together, and I think that plays obviously a major part. no excuses, because we should have done much better in some moments this season, obviously. But I do think that plays a major part.
Hi, Bernard. Can I just ask you quickly, did you mean that goal on Saturday?
No. I wouldn't. I don't want to lie to you. No, I wanted to cross to Erling Haaland.
And I know that it didn't go well.
Con Plenitud, la energía del cambio tiene una nueva forma. Es disfrutar de nuestro mejor precio de luz contratando la tarifa Fácil Plus. Y es tener a tu lado al mejor aliado para cada cambio. Descúbrelo en anyplenitud.es.
I wouldn't call them vulnerable. They beat us 3-0, so that I wouldn't use that word right now. When I got home, I was really frustrated. I wanted to watch the game, and I know that this might look a bit stupid what I'm about to say, but when I watched back, I don't see a reason for us to be losing 3-0 that game at halftime, and the result was much worse than the performance, in my opinion. Obviously, in football, that counts zero. That counts for nothing. A lot of games that we were worse than our opponents and we also beat them, or we were much better and we didn't. Football is like that. But the reality is that the performance, especially the first half, because the second half, then the emotions, and you go on at halftime and everything looks like it's really bad when it's not that bad. And you lose a bit your minds. I know, as I said in the beginning, it might sound really stupid saying this. I don't think the performance was that bad.
Hi, Bernardo. Just away from this game for a second, I'm sure you'll have seen it like we all have, the huddle that the Chelsea players did with the referee. I just wondered what you made of that as a fellow professional in the Premier League and a club captain.
I saw a picture. I don't know the context. I don't know if they were making a speech or something. I have no clue. It looked funny, but I don't know. I don't know what that was about. It's just fun, you know.
On a more serious note, then, on the messaging that a club captain can give to his players, what will you be saying to your teammates ahead of this game?
For sure, that what I said earlier, that if you believe that in this game, the little details that make a lot of difference in football will go to our side, will be in our favor. If you look at the game in Madrid specifically, even with a terrible performance, for example, when the midfielder from Madrid tries to play out from the back and Nico Riley almost steals the ball and Courtois with the reflexes, it makes that save. Those little things, if that ball goes in, it's a 3-1, it's different. And we have to believe that tomorrow, when Erling has a chance, he will score that one, and the ball will not hit the post or the bar. And when they have a chance, because they will run, they have an unbelievable quality and players to run and to create chances. And when they have their chances, we have to believe that our defenders will block, and our keeper.
Con Plenitud, la energía del cambio tiene una nueva forma. Es disfrutar de nuestro mejor precio de luz contratando la tarifa Fácil Plus. Y es tener a tu lado al mejor aliado para cada cambio. Descúbrelo en anyplenitud.es.
The Etihad obviously went out on penalties. You
yeah, 2 years ago, yeah.
The manager was talking about the need for a perfect performance, but is the reality tomorrow as well is that you need to be lucky as well, that you need a lot of luck on your side as well as the quality performance?
I don't want to. It's difficult for me to answer that question because I don't believe a lot in luck. So I believe a lot that the reason why throughout the years we didn't manage to be more successful in this competition, maybe a little bit of luck, but it's never just luck. It's the little details that you need to get better. And the Champions League is a competition. It's a different competition. In a league, the best team wins 95% of the time. In the Champions League, the best team not necessarily wins. It's a competition about emotions, how you deal with your emotions. The little details, mainly in the boxes. How do you defend the action? How do you block that shot? How do you score your chances? And that's not luck. You need to be there. You need to do well in those actions. I do believe that we need to do really well in those little details, and Madrid is a very strong team in that.
Bernardo, you were talking about that, you don't believe in luck. Looking back to the last game, or the game last week, in the first 20 minutes, obviously there were all those crosses come across the box, and no one's put it in, and it was sort of similar at West Ham on Saturday in the second half. Like, what do you need to do as players to be able to have a little bit more cohesion in the final third? Does it go back to what you were saying about the transition and people haven't played with each other that much?
As I said, you talk about luck and the crosses. For the balls to go in, you need to make the right movement. You need to have a player that arrives on the near post. You need to have a player for a tap in on the far post, which we scored a lot of goals. The classic one from Kevin, ball across the goal, and someone, either Raheem Sterling or Erling or Leroy Sané or Agüero, always a small tap in at the far post. Those goals look easy, but you need to make that movement to score those goals. So if you look, we had 10 crosses, but if no one does that movement, there's no point. So it's not luck. It's us needing to get better, needing to know each other better, to improve. Because if you put a player on the near post, if you put...
Con Plenitud, la energía del cambio tiene una nueva forma. Es disfrutar de nuestro mejor precio de luz contratando la tarifa Fácil Plus. Y es tener a tu lado al mejor aliado para cada cambio. Descúbrelo en anyplenitud.es.
For sure.
Bernardo, hello. Just continuing that theme, Erling scored, I think, 4 times in these last 14 games, and 2 of those were penalties. Would you personally be shocked if Pep left him out tomorrow evening? And do you think the dressing room would be shocked at that decision if Pep decides to go a different way just for this game?
We wouldn't be shocked with anything, because it's not our job to judge the manager's decision. He gets paid a lot of money to make those decisions, and for us as players, our job is to be ready. And we have a big squad. Anyone is ready to play. Obviously, Erling is a massive player for us, a very important player for us. And in the big games, you need those players. But we have fantastic players everywhere, and no one is irreplaceable.
So psychologically, it wouldn't be a difficult thing to deal with, a blow, if you look around the dressing room and think, oh, wait a minute, Erling's not starting against Real Madrid when we need to basically score 4 goals?
I would obviously prefer to have Erling, because he's someone that, when you have Erling on the pitch, you're closer to scoring goals, and you need goals tomorrow. We've played throughout the years. We've played without Erling when he was injured, without Kevin when he was injured for a long time. We've dealt with those situations. The big players are there for the big moments, and we definitely need them. But look, Madrid, if that was an excuse, Madrid without Mbappé, Bellingham and Rodrigo, they beat us 3-0, so that cannot be an excuse.
Bernardo, bom dia. João Ventura, SBT Brasil, Thiago em espanhol.
Do you agree with everything that Manchester need to have a Real Madrid style night? And how do you feel that you can make that happen? It's not a Real Madrid night. I think we need to have a Manchester City night, because we've also had many of those where many people didn't believe in us and things have gone out very well. Madrid in this competition have had many memorable nights in the last, well, they've always done it, but particularly in the last few years. And what we want is to create an atmosphere of belief in the stadium with the pace of game that we want to inject into it, and as early as possible not to suffer attacks, to score a goal, because with one goal the atmosphere of the whole ground will change.
Con Plenitud, la energía del cambio tiene una nueva forma. Es disfrutar de nuestro mejor precio de luz contratando la tarifa Fácil Plus. Y es tener a tu lado al mejor aliado para cada cambio. Descúbrelo en anyplenitud.es.
Bad luck if he starts tomorrow. It's difficult to say that, because many people said that Madrid didn't have a chance without Rodrigo, Bellingham and Mbappé, and they beat us 3-0.
que te puede decir.
What can I say?
Puede ser que sea suerte, puede ser
Maybe
que sea mala
it's luck,
suerte.
maybe it's bad luck.
Nosotros
We don't.
Nos tenemos que enfocar
What we need to
es
focus
nuestro
on
trabajo,
is our work.
En estar preparados
To
nosotros
be
del Manchester
prepared, to be us, to be Manchester City.
Para poder crear un
To be able to create an atmosphere that's favourable so that all the players, all the people within the stadium believe that it's possible. It's going to be a difficult night, of course, but we're going to try and make it a joyous an occasion for us. And in terms of Real Madrid, we can't control anything that they do. Bernardo, you were speaking about those fine details. Do you think one of those fine details, in terms of your options of going through, would mean you have to score quickly? Do you feel that need to score early to pressure them? Of course, it would help us. As quickly as possible would be better, but in football, look, 4 or 5 years ago, I remember we were losing against Real Madrid. They scored 2 goals in the 90th, 93rd minute. So in football, 3 or 4 or 5, we were losing, years ago, we were losing 3-0 to Villa, and then in 10 minutes we scored 3 goals. Of course, it's better to score as quickly as possible. But in football, many things can happen. So we need to not lose our heads, stay within the game, and try to create, as I said, this atmosphere whereby everybody believes that it's possible.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.